have had some people request that I redo a video that I put in the past. That video was called the Smash Fundamentals, Smash Bros. Understanding Fundamentals Part 1, and it was quite the lengthy video. The problem with that video was that it was a little noisy in the background, so what I've decided to do is just redo that video, honestly. But instead of redoing it, the whole thing, I decided why not change it and divided it into parts so you can watch whatever part you want. So part 1's going to be on movement. And the rest of the parts I'm going to separate into timing aerials. That's something I've added. Pressuring and punishing, to juggling, to punishing bad habits, to playing on the edge, to shield options, to grab game combos and follow-ups, which I think I've actually done one on those. And there's also going to be something on like limiting your predictability as well. So like I'm going to separate these videos now instead of making one 2-hour-long video. This one is just going to be about movement. And we're going to cover dashing versus walking, dash dancing, proper shielding, proper rolling, spot dodging, air dodging, weaving in and out, short hopping, fast falling, proper spacing, as well as B reversals. And this is all going to be in regards to movement in the game. So let's just real quick talk about fundamentals. A fundamental is any skill or technique that can be used or readily transferable to the rest of the cast, right? So these are things that you're going to be able to use for the rest of the cast. Now, let's talk about the famous last words of Isaiah, which is, do not get hit, and your movement will be your best tool to not get hit. It will also be your best tool to get that hit, right? So this is something that you're going to want to focus on after you've learned your specials, after you've learned your normals, your tilts, your smashes, your aerials. You know what Mario's moveset is. You know he has a fireball, a cape, he has a back air. You know what a short hop is. You know what a full hop is. You know what he has like, you know all this stuff, right? Now, something you got to keep in mind is that we can only remember at one time 7 plus or minus 2 units in terms of like memory short-term capacity, right? That's why most phone numbers are 7 units long. If you think about it, you have your first 3 digits, dash last 4 digits. Now you can group them up, 772 as an area code, 785, 8134, right? Like you can say that's each 3 or 4 is a chunk, so you can actually remember 3 or 4 different chunks at that point. But for us, we can only remember 7 plus or minus 2 things at a time. So that's why I'm not going to go over a lot of things in this video. We're going to try to limit the scope of what we're learning and master this before we move on. I will also post all of this in the description as well. Now, and when you're thinking in terms of fundamental strategies, right? First, look for moves that fit into the spectrum should you have those moves. So if you don't have them, you can't use it. You are looking for other things that you can fit in there instead. So let's first talk about what every single character in this game has: a dash and a walk. So here's your walking, and here's your, and you can even dash. So they both have their unique properties. It's like, let's say I'm playing this K Rool, and this K Rool does a lot. Let me go ahead and change the controls on the CPU actually. There we go, control. You're playing a K Rool, and this K Rool does a lot of this, right? A lot of like camping, a lot of these. He holds it down, and he does a lot of those, right? You're playing in a Toon Link, you're playing against a character with a lot of projectiles. You're gonna really want to use your dashing versus walking, right? So that's just one instance. Another instance is for pressuring. So what's the difference between the two, and what would be some of the things you're looking for dashing and walking? Okay, first let's just talk about walking. Walking, you can shield no matter what when you walk. Alright, and that's good, right? It's very easy to get in on this guy and then shield right away. So if you can play that patient game, you can get in on most projectile characters just by walking. Take your time. Remember, don't get hit. Choose your openings, right? Use your moveset, what you got. Now, let's look at K Rool. The reason I chose K Rool is because I wanted 2 characters that like have 2 really different movesets, right? K Rool isn't that quick of a character. His walk isn't that quick. He has a pretty decent dash, and he has a dash attack out of it that has a lot of end lag to it, right? He has quite the slow jab. A down tilt that, you know, it's good, it got a lot of range on it. A forward tilt that has a lot of range, but like all these have a lot of startup. right? And getting in with K Rool is hard because he's a big body. It's easy to hit. So his movement is going to be key for him to get in. K Rool is one of those characters that relies on those short bursts, those short dashes to get in. So like I'm doing what I call a foxtrot, smack, 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 smack. And this is called dash dancing, right? They both have their merits. You can let go and shield. So when you're choosing to dash, you want to make sure that you don't dash too close to your opponent because you have a slight delay in which you can shield. I'm trying to shield as fast as possible. Notice how there's a little dash distance before I can shield. So if you're going to dash into your opponent, make sure that you're at least like this far away from most characters before you can come in and shield. And this also means that you don't think that your opponent is going to throw out an attack, because if I'm dash dancing, right, my opponent can just jab, jab, jab and hit me before I could do anything. And that would be the counter to things like dash dancing and dashing in at your opponent. I see people do this all the time with Mario. They go jump, 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 run in, and they try to grab you, and then they try to pull off that combo on you, right? Whereas all of this K Rool had to do, the moment that this Mario weaved in, boom, 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 was just jab, and it's over. And so, like, I love to just hold down my jab, or just throw out, like, an attack that has quite the range. So if I'm a Snake, I do a down tilt. If I'm Violet, I throw a forward tilt, right? If I'm Marth, I just do a jump forward air, and I do, like, a retreating forward air. Like, every character has that spacing move, because, like, the moment you go in, you can be punished. So you have to make sure that if you're Mario, you're not initiating your dash like within this close proximity. That goes the same for characters like K Rool. So when you're picking a character, learn that dash distance before you can shield. And the moment you get in their zone where they can hit you like with the jab, like right there at the tip of his, like I need to be able to dash right about at least here before I can come in and shield it. Should I read that my opponent's going to do a jab combo, and then he would jab my shield, and then I would punish it afterwards, right? And then you can get that big punish that you're looking for, okay? So dash dancing is very useful. It is one of your key things to opening up your opponent, because you want to maintain unpredictability. You want to mask your strategy. You want to mask your thoughts as much as possible. Don't give up your hand until the last moment, and then make your opponent like fear, like, where is he going with this, right? Or where are they doing with this, right? Like, you have to make sure you mask it at all times. So dash dancing has its merits. You really do want to use this as much as possible. Like with K Rool, I love doing my dash dance with K Rool, right? But when I use it, I stay like in this zone right here. I try to stay a little bit further out. I have a projectile that I can use, right? I can force them to go in. If I see it's going to hit, if I see they're going to shield, then I follow it in. So learn your dash dance distance, and at the very least, go watch the videos that I've been producing on some of these characters to show you some type of movement patterns that you need. Which leads us to the next part of your movement. Now, this is oddly enough the opposite of moving, which is shielding, but it's a part of your movement set. When I was first learning this game, QDVS, he was a top 5 player in Smash Bros. At the time in Florida. He was a ranked Melee player. He was Marth. He told me, if you're not doing anything, you should at least be shielding. Now, and Melee was a little different in this game, right? But the reason he told me that was not so that I was always shielding, but it got into my brain the idea of shielding. Why? Because if your opponent knows that you're not shielding, they're always just going to throw out attacks, and they're going to punish you for it. Hence the K Rool throwing out projectiles or large hitboxes at the same time, like forward tilts and stuff like that, or even just like forward smashes, right? So you want to shield. Shielding helps you maintain your presence on the stage, right? Where do you want to be on the stage? So like you can run up here, do a quick shield, and then that's where I want to be when I'm edge guarding, right? So you can use the dash. After that certain animation, I want to be right there when I'm edge guarding. So like, let's say I hit this K Rool. Let's put this K Rool up to a decent percent, right? Let's say I want to edge guard this K Rool. I know in the moment, right, I want to edge guard him. So I'm going to come up here, I'm going to use shield, and I've placed myself on the edge right here, and that's where I'm going to edge guard with Mario. I used my shield to stop my momentum exactly where I want to be, and then I would just use my little stutter step, my little walking, I'm walking here, to kind of like make my opponent think, oh, what is he looking for? Is he looking for the roll? Is he looking to come up and grab me? Is he looking for the jump? right? So, like, you need to use your walking and the little stuttering on the edge here. And I need to actually put that in here as well. Stutter stepping. Stutter stepping is huge in this game. And if I had Snake, it would be way better with Snake. But the idea of stutter stepping is, it's harder to do on a pro controller, right? Is you want to like go back and forth. If you smack too hard on your control stick, you dash, right? On a GameCube controller, this is much easier. So you just lightly tap in both directions, and this is called a stutter step, right? This makes your opponent kind of once again fear where you're going. Also, with characters like Mario, like watch this. If I forward smash, my tip of my toe is going to be right near that cloud, and look at the end of the forward smash is about the end of the cloud, right? If I turn around, if I put the back of my foot on that, I get a little extra distance, right? So this is forward smash. This is a stutter step forward smash. The other thing it does too is it gives you a little extra pullback, right? So Mario pulls back a little bit. It's like, see how he pulls back? He's standing right there. Look where he's pulled back. He's gained like at least half his body towards the back. If I turn backwards, I get a little extra distance with that pullback. So it actually prevents me from getting hit at times. So stutter stepping is a good thing to do as well, right? And that is an incorporation of dash dancing with walking, right? So you're not dashing. This is dashing, right? This is a dash dance, which once again has its merits, and you do want to incorporate this into your game, which once again is punishable. By the way, if your opponent decides that they want to run in and attack you, it's punishable, so that's why you have to maintain a good distance away from your opponent, right? And watch your opponent at all times. Make sure you're using proper shielding with it. But if you put the little walk aspect in there, it does give you a little bit of unpredictability in characters like Snake. That allows them to do like the turnaround up tilt. With Mario, that lets them do like a stutter step forward smash. Every character might not have this. Some characters have it better than others. Pikachu can like do like a turnaround down tilt, right? And it's super powerful as well. So if you have it, use it. Let's talk about proper shielding, rolling, spot dodging, and air dodging. So let's real quick talk about the mechanics of dodging in general. This is the rolling, the dodging, as well as the directional air dodge. Now, this game is played on a three-dimensional axis. There's the vertical up and down axis. There's the horizontal right and left axis. And there's the third axis, in and out of the screen. Now, these characters play on these axes. They only go up and down. Now, how do you make sure that if I were to throw out a move, it doesn't hit that character? That's what a dodge is. It actually puts your character into a third axis, the Z-axis. It actually takes their hitbox and moves it out of the way of being hit. So their hitbox actually doesn't leave. Like my hurtbox, my body, my Mario body is still there, but it gets moved into another dimension, right? So you have to understand that's the mechanics of it. Once you understand that, while you're blinking, your character is in that other axis. That's the same thing with right there. Your character's body is in another axis. You need to use it properly. Now, there's the scrub roll, which is this, right? I see this all the time. Right? Attack, roll. Alright? And they'll just come up and they roll. Like, or if I'm this K Rool, right? I'll throw out an aerial or that, and then I'll roll away. Like, that's not good rolling. I've made videos about, you know, scrub techniques, skill scaling. That's the one you want to watch. If you want to see how to scale rolling and spot dodging and air dodging, go watch that video about it. It's called skill scaling. What is it? It's advanced tips and tricks. But for now, you need to know that rolling, spot dodging, and air dodging are part of fundamentals and proper moveset. You want it, if you're going to roll, you're going to roll with a specific purpose in mind. If you have them right here at the edge, why are you going to roll away? That's not a good roll. A good roll would be if you're using your movement to get in and pressure your opponent. And don't worry, we'll talk about this type of pressuring, this type of movement here soon. Right? You're getting in there, and then you get your opponent to shield, and then you roll behind them, and now you have them that in a bad spot, right? You put them at disadvantage, and for Mario's back throw kills, right? So that's good for Mario. That's like Palutena, right? The back throw kills, Sonic back throw kills, Incineroar, Dr. Mario, like that's a good roll to grab. Like that's good, right? Against Snake, one of Snake's worst spots. You get in front of him, you shield, and then you get behind him, and then you just got him now in a very, very bad spot, okay? Like, rolling can be good, right? It's good if you know, like, your opponent's gonna run in with like a dash, and you try to roll past it, right? Like, that's fine. Spot dodging, that has its merits too. So, like, if you have a smash and you hit somebody on shield, let's see if we can get this K Rool to shield. I'll turn Mario around, right? And he tries to turn around forward smash you can spot dodge that and punish attacks. So, like, it's common for a lot of characters to smash into a spot dodge, right? Toon Link, Young Link, after they're up Bs, they can immediately spot dodge. Ganondorf, after Ganondorf does a falling neutral air, can spot dodge, right? It's like almost all characters have an attack where if they use it, they can immediately spot dodge after it. Like, that one has a lot of lag, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a lot of lag on that one. So K Rools would be like a falling neutral air, which has very little lag on it. A falling forward air to like a roll, like a falling aerial into a roll. You can do empty hops into rolls. Like, that's super powerful. Empty hops are super powerful in this game. So let's real quick talk about weaving in and out, and as an idea, as a concept, right? And let's combine that with proper spacing, and then I'll give you guys some ways to think about weaving in and out. So weaving, think about Muhammad Ali, right? He's in a corner, people are trying to punch his face, and he's just like ducking, he's moving left, he's moving right, and he's just ha, 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 ha. I once saw him dodge 20 jabs in a row from dude in a corner, and the dude just backed off, and he gave him like the little boogie dance, right? And he's like, hey, bro, you can't touch me, bro. It's amazing. Muhammad Ali, one of the greatest bob and weavers of all time. You want to bob and weave in this game. One of the best ways to bob and weave is to stay right outside your opponent's zone of influence, right? So that, like, wherever he can attack you, that's like a bubble, right? So this is his jab, right? This is his up smash, his up tilt, right? Is like this, right? So that's about as far reaching as he can get. And that would be like his forward air right there, right? So you kind of want to stay out of those range of these attacks. Should he just throw it out because you're like in his bubble and you've made him afraid? You want to stay outside that forward air, right? And that's kind of like the highest thing. So his forward air would hit like right in this zone right here, right? And like this right here would be like right at the edge of the zone where if you get inside that, you're gonna see the K Rool start hitting you. Okay, so you want to stay a little bit further out. You want to kind of like pull out, pull back, right? You kind of want to use your short hops, mix it up with your full hops. You probably want to do more short hops than full hops with most characters. Although that one, once again, is a comment that only works for 90% of the cast. There are a few characters in this cast with very, very awful short hops. And you really probably prefer to do a full hop. And once again, that'd be a character-specific thing, and you can absolutely ask me a question on the comments, and I'll try my best to answer it. So you're going to want to weave in and out. Short hop over him. This is a movement pattern that you're going to want to get, short hopping over your opponent, right? This is something that's super powerful, because if they miss, then you can get them. If they were to have thrown out attack, like let's say this K Rool threw out a jab, right? Or like this K Rool threw out a grab, you were going in and out, he thought you were going to run in, and he tried to jab you, or like he was going to try to jab you, right? I already told you, that's the punish to this, I'm looking for it. Well, instead of going in, like right here, I just do like one of these, I jump over him and hit him with the back air. I faked out a movement, I weaved over him and above him and hit him with an attack. And if it's a super laggy attack, or depending upon the percentage, right, maybe he's even at a lower percentage, right? I can choose an option that would work for me. Get over him, and now I've got him in my up strings, on my up air strings, and that was 40 damage right there, right? And that's big damage. So weaving is something that you want to pull into your game plan. And you're going to want to practice bobbing and weaving for, at least a week straight. And just have this in your mind, weave in and out, weave in and out. Like, how can I weave past this opponent's attacks? Like, you're going to think like Byleth. Byleth has a forward air that she can throw out way in front of her. So how do you weave in and out? So that's the question on every character that you should have. How do I weave in and out on this character? And there are general rules. Against Swordies, you want to attack their feet, right? So I'm going to put this into that document. On Swordies, you want to attack their feet, right? Against characters like Yoshi, you want to go for his nose, right? Against characters like Olimar and K Rool, you want to go for the angled 45-degree downwards in. And what do I mean by that? Think of it this way. Straight above me, that's my 12. Straight below me, like that's my down air. Like this, actually, like straight below me, that's my 6, right? This is my 6 o'clock. My 3 o'clock's in front of me, and my 9 o'clock's behind me. You can think of it as like a clock, right? So once again, that's my 6, that's my 12, that's my 3, right? 45 degrees is like your 4 to 5 o'clock, right? Like angled straight down. Like that would be like where that corner of the ledges, right? Some characters you want, and that would be like this type of approach right there. That's that 45 degree come in right there. That's actually why Ganondorf does very good against K Rool, because he has a forward air. I like that 45 degree angle that like is super good for him. Like he just walks in, boom, boom. Like there are characters that cannot attack in that range if they get caught doing things like throwing out their specials, right? Once he throws this out, he really can only hit like right in front of him. So you want to like hit like right in this zone right here. Get behind him or get above him, right? And that's the same thing with like Olimar. That's why Mario does good against Olimar, because Mario can stay in that zone where Olimar is weakened. So every character that you fight against, you need to ask yourself, like, what's this character's zone? And at the very least, when you're playing them, if you get hit, just be like, man, that wherever I just got hit, that's a bad angle right there, probably, right? You can test it a few more times. If you keep getting hit, you know it's a bad angle. Try a different angle. So try the front approach, try the 45 degree approach, right? Try the jump over approach, try the get behind approach. There's the run in approach to roll behind. There's the dashing in and out to like pivot bears, right? There's the throw out projectiles approach. These are all ways to bob and weave in this game, right? Throw out safe aerials, get in their zone, weave in, weave out, get that grab, right? You have to figure it out with your character. Now, there's a lot of characters in this game. I've only made so many fundamental videos so far, but the more I make, the better it's going to get for you. But for now, I would also watch pros play as well. For example, one of the ways that Inkling likes to bob and weave is Inkling just has like the best back air in the game, so it's like falling back airs. This is what Inkling just does. Back air, back air, back air, back air. It just tries to cancel out everything you do with back airs, and then when Inkling goes in, just that jab is so good for Inkling that it just works wonders. And if you shield it, the Inkling grabs you and then hits you with that up throw and then hits you with that up air and then kills you. And it's just way too good, right? So like every character once again has their own thing. Now let's talk real quick about shuffling. SHFFL'ing, right? So short hop, fast falling. Here's a short hop. And here's short hop, fast falling. You're gonna want to press the down button at the apex of your short hop. What this is good for is it gives you maneuverability. Full hop, you're in the air for way more time. When you're full hopping, your opponent has all that time that you're in the air to react properly. So if you do a full hop and you're coming in, as opposed to a short hop coming in, you have way less time for something like this. And if they did guess wrong, for example, like let's say you short hopped and they started jabbing, right? You can immediately punish that with like a fast fall neutral air, right? But if you were to have full hopped it, it's possible that that jab would have ended and they could have shielded afterwards. Like they could have jabbed, oh wow, he went up high, let me shield, and now if you land in front of them with that nair, it's no longer punishable. Whereas that, if you had full short hopped it instead, you could have gotten that hit. You need to practice the short hop. You need to master it. And here's how you know the difference. The height. It's all about the height, right? Half the height versus full height. And it's all about how much time you've pressed the jump button for. If you've pressed it for a lot of time, you get the full hop. If you press it for a short amount of time, that's the short hop. I think it's easier to short hop on the GameCube controller than it is the Pro controller. You can actually press 2 jumps at once, right? I think on the Pro controller, the default is X and Y. If you press both of those at once, it automatically short hops for you, so they did make an input for that. And you can absolutely abuse that input because it's much harder to short hop on the Pro controller, in my opinion. So there is that little trick. Once again, that trick is to press both jump buttons, if you have 2 jump buttons programmed, at the same time, and that will auto-populate a short hop for you. Or you just press it for a little bit amount of time. Characters like Sheep, oh my god, Sheep 100% depends upon that short hop. So that's something that you need in your movement set. When you're bobbing and weaving, make sure that you are also using your character's tools to bob and weave. For example, it would be B reversals, right? So this is my normal fireball. If I was going to use this, I could follow it up if it were to hit. That's a part of movement, right? Throw out stuff and follow projectiles, right? If I have a projectile, follow it, right? Your movement's that important, right? It gives you opportunities to pressure your opponent. However, like let's say my back's towards my back's towards my opponent, and I would like to throw something extra out. I can B reverse projectiles, like it's something like this. Right, so if you jump out, you're like, oh man, jump out, B reverse back in, now you got them, and it's beautiful. So something else I do, and this is a cool little B reversal. Like when they first come back from you know, dying, they're like right here and they're like invincible and they like to fall, right, and they come towards you. Normally, right? So what I would do is, I would jump and I would B reversal out. One of my favorite ways to B reversal is this. I do this all the time, where especially with Mario, where that B reversal rocks. So, or I'll do like one of these, and they'll try to throw an attack as I'm landing, right? I'll get behind them, right? Like that's one of my favorite. Get my back towards them. I'm gonna do something. Nope. And then I'll use my B reverse to hit him with something. Mario has a cape, which can help him stall in the air. If you have a move that helps you stall in the air, that's gonna be good for movement, right? Because it prevents you from being predictable. Mario's cape is one of those options, right? It gives you that little stall. And if they were to throw something out, now you have them. Stalling moves. Ganondorf's down B. Stalling move. Ness's side magnet. Ness's down B allows him to stall. I don't know if K Rool has any stalling. Yeah, that one right there is kind of a stall. He does kind of like get a little bit of like momentum, right? But part of his movement set would be like, he doesn't really have any good B reversals, okay? Like K Rool, you can B reverse his crown, but he doesn't really rely on it, right? You absolutely can use it as like a mix-up, right? You can turn it around in the air with K Rool, and then get the opponent if they suck him up, right? That's fine. But so he doesn't really rely on B reversals, but characters like Mario do. Projectile characters heavily rely on it. Lucario heavily relies on it. I've even seen Chrom use B reversals. Chrom's neutral B as like a charged attack, right? You can even use his neutral B to B reverse that in the air and get a cool kill. I've seen it, and it's hot. It's good, right? So that's really the basics that I got to movement. One of the most important things to master with your character, once again, you need to incorporate your dashes, your walking, your dash dancing, your stutter stepping, proper shielding, rolling, air dodging. You want to weave. You want to have a purpose when you weave. Where are you going to attack your opponents from? You want different types of weaving. You want the straight ahead approach. You want from the diagonal approach, from the above approach. You want to cross up your opponent, right? Try to get past them. You want to incorporate short hops past your opponent. This is really good to incorporate into your game. You want to fast fall aerials. You want to fast fall short hops. That way you can do things like tomahawk, short hop, fast fall into grab, get over them, hit them. Right, this is super good if they're always stuck in shield, and then you get a free grab out of it. Right, you want proper spacing. Stay outside of their zone of influence, their range. Right, if they have a move that is very has a far distance, stay out of that one's range. Right, keep in their dead zones. You can always jump around them. Okay, there's actually one thing I did forget to mention when it comes to movement, and I'm so glad I didn't end it right there. So this would be your extra tip in the video. Platforms. You have to utilize platforms. Characters like K Rool are very slow in the air, right? If you're slow in the air, you're gonna want to use a single platform. You want to learn how to run off back air off platforms. You want to learn how to fast fall through them, right? You want to learn how to play around them. You want to learn how to play under them, right? Not hit them. So if I'm up on this right here, if my opponent's up on a platform camping me as K Rool, I have to figure out a way to get up on this platform or to pressure them without actually getting hit. Because if I were to land on this platform, Mario would shield it, he gets a free grab, right? And this is where you have to learn, like, how to, like, poke your opponent from underneath, right? So, like, if I am this Mario, like, I know, like, maybe this K Rool is starting to, like, throw out aerials or try to get underneath me and try to, like, hit me with the smash or something, and I'll shield it with Mario, right? And that's all fine and dandy. So as Mario, if I'm up on platforms, understand they're trying to hit you, right? So use your shield. There's this thing called the scrub jump off the shield. At a mid-level, characters love to just jump off of it to get off platforms if they're being punished. So it's a lot of times I'll go for that second jump, by the way, and try to punish them. Otherwise, use your shield, get off. Running off back airs, almost every character has a good run off back air off of a platform, especially for a killing option like Ganondorf, man. Like, that run off back air, super potent, man. Like, it's so good, alright? So run off platforms is super good. Something I like to do too, is with Mario's come down with a downer. So, like, let's do a K Rool something, right? So K Rool, that's his back air, a lot of lag. So, like, I would jump off and try to, like, use my forward air as, like, a landing tool, or I do, like, I would turn off and I do B reverse crown, just in case if it does miss, it's gonna come back and my opponent's gonna be like, all right, I've got to shield the second approach, and then I can even punish it should that crown hit, right? So if I'm K Rool, I would follow it up with like a forward air or something, right? But as K Rool, he's slow, right? And there's some characters like Bowser who have some moves that aren't too good off the back, right? Like, look, I tried to do a back air right there, and it's super hard to pull off, right? And the whole hitbox didn't come off. So maybe with K Rool it's better to do like the reverse projectiles. But every character has something off of a platform that they have, you know, that you're going to want to use, right? That's good for you. If that means jumping out, if that means faking your opponent with like a double jump, like you're on this right here, and you go up, oh, just kidding, boom, and then you hit him, that's fine, right? If that's what you're gonna do, or you know, like that type of motion, that's fine. I don't care. Like, figure out what works for your character. Remember this: don't get hit. Right? If you're getting hit because you're always running off and throwing something off, that's not good for you. So you need to try something else. If that means jumping away and just returning back to neutral, that's fine. If you didn't take a hit, that's fine. Okay? Like, you'll learn the more you do it, like, what's your follow-ups, but just stop getting hit, okay, off those platforms. And, that's basically going to be it for me right now. I hope you guys enjoyed the part 1, the redo of the last one of the fundamental series. Once again, I'm going to post all this in the description when I upload this video to YouTube. And it's just going to be like a list, and you're more than welcome to send me messages, post messages on the video, asking questions if you want, right? Other than that, guys, stay safe and just be prepared to watch the next video.